Well, good evening and welcome to the National Virtual Expo. I'm your host, Rob Malicki, coming to you today from Garigal Land in Sydney. And when I think about all of the campuses in Australia, I've visited all of the universities and God, I don't even know what percentage of all of the campuses in Australia. The one that stands out to me as perhaps the most beautiful and definitely one of my favourite in terms of student vibes is the one at the University of Western Australia. And of course, that's what we're diving into in this session. Now, if you've got questions as we go, make sure you drop them in the chat. If you're here live, thanks so much. If you're on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or TikTok, you can ask your questions in that chat and they will come through. And if you're watching this on the replay, then you can jump in and ask your questions on the Choosing Your Uni Discord and parents in the Facebook community. Details of both of those you'll find down in the session description. Without further ado, I'm going to hand over to my colleague Molly over in Western Australia for this session on UWA. Let's do it.
Hi everyone, welcome to the UWA live session for the Choosing Your Uni Virtual Expo. We're really glad that you come to join us today. My name's Molly. I work in our domestic students, future students team. And this is Alison.
Hi guys, I'm Alison. I'm in the international recruitment team. Welcome to our presentation.
Wonderful. Yeah, really great to have you here with us today. We're going to take you through the whole slew and hopefully answer all of your questions. And if not, at the end, we'll have lots of resources available for you to get in touch with us. So we'll get straight into it. We're going to go through just four main categories today. So we'll run you through the basics of UWA, a little bit what you can study, how you're going to get into uni, and then what it's like to be a student at UWA. What I really want the main takeaway from this session to be is that if you're doing your exploration, you're not sure what you want to study, or mum and dad are sending you one direction but your heart is going another direction, what's really important about uni is that you have lots of opportunity and there's lots of time to figure out what it is exactly you'd like to do. I'm a great case study for that. When I moved to Perth from Victoria, I thought dead set that I wanted to study anthropology, and when I got to UWA, I actually pivoted the whole direction of my degree. And so by just getting started and seeing the different opportunities available to me, I was able to make changes in my degree, and you'll be able to have that same flexibility. And so yeah, I want that to be your main takeaway today, that you've got lots of time to figure it out, and UWA is going to be here to help support you in that. So let's give you a bit of an overview of the fundamentals of UWA.
Okay, so if you are currently not in Perth, I just want to talk to you a little bit about Perth, because as a long-time Perth resident, love it here, and our students also love it here as well. So for all of you who might not know, this is Australia on the screen that you see here, and Perth is located on the west coast of Australia. We are in the biggest state by land size, Western Australia, and you can see that on the screen there we have just over 3 million residents living in Western Australia, with the majority of our residents actually living in Perth. We are the fastest growing capital city in Australia, so forecasted by 2030, we will actually be the third largest capital city in Australia, just behind Sydney and Melbourne. It's a very multicultural city, so over 40% of the residents living in Perth were born overseas. And we also have we are also known as the sunniest capital city. in Australia with over 8 hours of sunlight per day. So if you really enjoy the sun, Perth is definitely for you. And also at the very bottom, I always like to show our little quokka that is native to Western Australia in a little island called Rottnest. We always say that it is the #1 happiest animal on earth because it really does enjoy a selfie. So if you're ever in Perth, please visit Rottnest and take a selfie with a quokka. There's a quokka on the screen that you can see now as well. So other things about Perth is that it's a really beautiful city. As you can see, it is a very livable city as well. So if you look at things like pollution, transport, affordability, healthcare, we are consistently ranked in the top 15 most livable cities in the world. It is a biodiversity hotspot as well, so you will see many things in Perth that you won't see anywhere else in the world, including the quokkas. And also we are in the most populous time zone. So if you are located overseas and you would like to come to Perth, it's very, very well connected because our time zone is the same as most of the world's population as well. Okay, so in terms of Perth, we are a little bit isolated, but what we have found is that it's a very connected city, connected not just to different industries in Perth, but also globally. So if you look at all of the companies listed on the Australian Stock Exchange, about a third of those companies are headquartered right here in Perth. So that's great for not just our students looking for internships, but also our graduates who are looking at working not just in any company, but a really big multinational company. A lot of their headquarters are actually here in Perth. Almost half of the Australian exports actually come from Western Australia, and that's why you will see that a lot of those companies are really looking globally as well that are located here in Perth. And also, if you are not an Australian citizen or resident, you do want to work here after you graduate. If you do study in Perth, you will get an extra year post-study work visa so that you can get a bit more of that Australian work experience. And lastly, if you are interested in seeing more of our biodiversity hotspot that I was talking about earlier, we do have a campus down in Albany. So that is located south of Perth, really beautiful town. And if you are interested in the nature, in the oceans, it's a really great place to study, even just for 1 semester or more, if you were really interested in that. Now, not just about Perth, I do want to also talk about UWA and what makes us unique. We are a fairly large campus. We have over 25,000 students and we do have quite a lot of staff. We have 3,500 staff, making our staff to student ratio very, very good. And as you can see on the screen, we are home to a family of peacocks as well. We do a range of different courses, so we are a comprehensive university with many different courses and many different study areas, so hopefully something for everyone. And also, if you are looking at going on exchange in the future, we have 130 different partner universities. So a lot of our students are interested in studying overseas for 1 semester or a year, but still getting that UWA qualification. It's definitely possible for you. And then we'll also touch on the student clubs later, but we do have a really great student experience for our students. So whatever you want to study and whatever lifestyle you want to lead, you definitely can do that here at UWA. And you can see our beautiful campus there in the picture. UWA is ranked in the top 100 universities worldwide, and we are actually the only university in Western Australia that holds this ranking. Having this ranking is really great for us and our students because it means that we partner a lot with industries. It means that our students are not just looking locally, but they're looking globally for their career as well. So it presents a lot of different opportunities for students, not even when they graduate, but also while they're studying their degree at UWA. And this is a little bit more of our campus. So our campus, as I said, is quite a large campus. We are located just 5 kilometres away from the Perth city centre. So it's very, very easy to get to no matter where you live in Perth. All the train lines go to the city, and we have frequent buses from the city to UWA, taking around about 10 minutes just to get to UWA, so very, very convenient. You'll see that one side has Matilda Bay, where our Swan River is. The other side of our campus borders Kings Park, which is one of the largest botanical gardens in the world, actually. And so it's a very beautiful campus for people to study at, to just hang out as well. Our health campus is located about 10 minutes walk north of our campus. So if you're doing something like medicine or biomedical sciences, you might be placed there. And also our colleges. So our colleges are our residential colleges, and that's if you want to live on campus. So they're located completely just right opposite our campus, and really easy for students to live there and then come and study at the university. We have 5 colleges on offer, so please have a look at all 5 colleges. They all offer something a little bit different, and I'm sure you'll find one that is suitable for what you are looking for. Okay, and lastly, we already talked about connecting to industry in Western Australia, but UWA is also very committed to helping our students connect to employers, connect to different types of industry partners. So we have our Careers and Employability Centre, and that is our one-stop shop for students who are interested in getting casual work while they're studying, helping with resume or interview techniques, and also specifically about getting internships and graduate work. We have our Career Mentor link that actually matches our students with current professionals in the industry that the student wants to work in the future. So that really helps with looking at their mentor's journey and really getting some support in their study. And lastly, we do have a lot of work integrated learning options for students. So at least 2/3 of our courses include some sort of work integrated learning component. And make sure that if you do come to UWA, you have a look at all of those opportunities for internships, for work experience, all of that sort of thing. And these are just some of our partners, definitely not extensive. There is a lot more than you see on the screen here, but these are just some of our partners that come on our campus at least twice a year to talk to our students about different work experiences they could offer.
Fabulous. Thanks, Alison. Yeah, so heaps of really great reasons why you might like to come and study in WA and at UWA specifically. So what can you study at UWA? What we'll touch on, I'm sure you've probably heard lots of these terms while you've been visiting all the different vendors through the Expo, but just so that you know some of the vocab that we'll use, we talk about tertiary study, that's any study that you're doing after you've finished high school, bachelor's and undergraduate degree, these are the first degrees that you study at university, and we can use those terms fairly interchangeably. You might like to go on and do some study after your first degree, and we would call that a postgraduate study. And in your bachelor degree or your undergraduate degree, you'll be studying majors and minors. So these are the areas that you'll choose to focus on in your degree. And these are made up of different units, so a bit like your subjects at school. You will have the opportunity to select units that build out your major area of study. Another key difference at uni versus high school is that we operate in semesters rather than in terms. So rather than 4 terms per year, you'll get 2 semesters with a nice big break in between both. UWA is really flexible. What I really love is that we know that not one size fits all, and so we try to offer as much flexibility as possible to make sure that you're getting exactly what you need out of the degree that you're going to study for the career aspirations that you might have. And we do that by offering a few different kinds of bachelor degrees. So, and I'll talk about those, but what is great, we've got 11 different disciplines at UWA, so ranging from STEM, science, engineering, maths, all the way through to the arts, law, psychology. Again, there really is something for everyone at UWA, and what I love is that when you look at this list of disciplines, if you're thinking, oh, I'm interested in more than one of those areas, the way our degrees are designed is that you can mix and match those different disciplines to get those specific skills and knowledge that you need for your future. So the three kinds of bachelor degrees that we offer, the first is called a comprehensive degree. So this is like your general degree. It is very, very flexible. We have over 200 majors to pick from, and within a comprehensive degree, you can have up to 2 majors as well as a minor area of study. You don't even have to have your major figured out before you start. You have right until the end of your first year, and you can treat that first year a little bit like try before you buy. Figure out what you like, what you don't like, and again, lots of flexibility in that to make sure that you're on the path that you'd like to pursue. The next kind of degree is called a specialised degree. So like the name suggests, it's going to be a little bit more specific, a bit more focused. So rather than having 2 majors, you'll have 1 extended major, as well as, again, some flexibility to add a minor area of study. And then finally, we'll talk a little bit about our combined bachelor degree. I like to call this the Hannah Montana of our degrees because you get the best of both worlds. We offer 6 comprehensive degrees, and you'll see there that the minimum ATAR requirement or the minimum NCUK requirement is at a really achievable threshold, with the exception of our Bachelor of Philosophy Honours. Our philosophy degree acts a little bit like a wildcard degree with some additional requirements in there around your weighted average mark. You've got a guaranteed study abroad in there, some leadership units, as well as a dedicated support system for our philosophy students. But you can see there that the names of the degrees are quite broad. They give you a really big catch-all what you might study. But that being said, lots and lots of majors to pick from. And again, I said, you can really mix and match. And so as long as your first major comes from your desired discipline, your second major can come from any other discipline. So let's say, for example, you're studying a Bachelor of Science, you're studying a major in psychology, but maybe you're thinking you'd go down the organisational psychology route rather than clinical psychology. You might take your second major from our business and commerce discipline and do a human resource management major. Or perhaps you're studying a Bachelor of Arts, you've watched a lot of NCIS, and so you're doing a criminology major, but you're also really interested in how drugs affect the body. So you might take your second major in pharmacology from our health and biomedical sciences discipline. So lots of different ways that you can mix and match our majors to really suit your needs. This is just a little overview of what your study plan might look like. A typical bachelor degree is 3 years long when you study full time, and you can see there that you get to have a bit of a mix of different areas. You can, again, all weird and wonderful combinations that you can think of. A comprehensive degree, you'll see there you've got ability for 2 majors as well as a minor, and still some room for electives, which are those units you do just for fun. They don't have to be related to your degree at all. These are our specialised degrees. So as you can see from the names, they're a little bit more specific. So rather than a Bachelor of Science, now we've got environmental science or molecular science. Instead of Bachelor of Arts, we've got things like Bachelor of Art History and Curatorial Studies or Modern Languages. Some of these have a higher ATAR requirement, but we can always help you to find pathways through if one of these degrees is your desired bachelor degree. And again, you still get to pick a major within that. Engineering's a great example. Having an engineering qualification is quite a specialised skill, but we have lots of facets of engineering. So even within that, you still get to select an extended major as part of your studies. And here's another study plan for your example. So now you can see the extended major takes up much more of your study plan, but there is still a little bit of room in there to have a minor area of study as well as some electives. So these are 2 real electives that we offer, one called active leadership, and that's a little bit like outdoor education in school. You'll see students doing stand-up paddleboarding on Matilda Bay or racing around campus. And then WIL stands for Work Integrated Learning, and that's one of those opportunities that we give students like Alison talked about to get connected to industry and get that real world experience to go hand in hand with what you're learning in the classroom. And like I talked about, we do also offer the combined bachelor degree. So this is your opportunity to select a specialised bachelor degree as well as a comprehensive degree. Ta-da, 2 degrees in one. The benefit of a combined bachelor degree is that you're getting 2 degrees in just 1 extra year of study, and then it's almost 2 for the price of 1. Lots and lots of combinations that you can pick from. So you can see the specialised degree on the left there, and then you select a comprehensive degree. arts and commerce are very common. Students think about what kind of specialised skill they'd like. Commerce, really common because they think maybe I'd like to start a business one day. And so again, you've got lots of different combinations that you can pick from. And here's another study plan for your example. So you can see now we've got 1 extra year tacked on the end there. Our extended major still taking up a majority of our study plan, but now we have the opportunity to add that second major, which we didn't have before, and even still room for electives as well. When it comes to picking a degree, I know it can feel like the whole world is asking you to pick right now what you need to study, but we want to encourage you that you have lots of time and there's lots of ways that you can figure out what it is that you'd like to study. Things like attending events just like this. Your school might host a career expo. You might know what job it is you want to do, so you jump on Seek and you have a look at what qualification they'd like you to have. Maybe your friend's mum does the job that you'd like to do one day. So you go over to their house and ask, well, what did you study at uni and what do you wish you had studied at uni? And just remember that nothing is set in stone. There's lots of time to ask lots of questions, and it really is a great opportunity to explore. Awesome. So as we start to think about what we might do, I will touch briefly on postgraduate pathways. Not everybody wants to study a second degree after their first degree. Some jobs that you want to have require a second degree, and so we have lots of ways that you can do postgraduate study at UWA. The first is called an assured pathway, and this is where you're using your ATAR mark or your NCUK mark to apply for both the bachelor and the master's degree at the same time. And if successful, we hold on to your place in that postgraduate degree while you complete your bachelor. You can see the ATAR requirement is a little bit higher in this case because you are applying for a higher level degree, but the beauty of an assured pathway is that we are able to accelerate the pathway slightly. So where a pathway might take 7 years, we usually can do it in 5 or 6. Next is the combined bachelor and master's pathway, and a bit like our combined bachelor's degree, you get to pick 2 different degrees and you're getting 2 degrees in 1 extra year of study, except now your second degree is actually at a master's level, which looks really great to your future employers when you're graduating from uni at 22 and you already hold a master's level qualification. And then finally is our graduate entry pathway. So this is a very common pathway. If you don't know you want to study postgraduate yet, it's a perfectly valid way to come into postgraduate study. You can focus on your bachelor degree first, studying what you're passionate about, and then using the marks from your bachelor degree, you can then go ahead and apply for a postgraduate program. And this will take you anywhere from 4 to 7 years, depending on which bachelor you choose and which master's program that you do pick. Awesome. So now that we have a bit of an idea what we might like to study, let's have a chat about how you might go about getting into a degree.
So this on the screen you can see here is our admission requirements for international students. So usually we say that there are 3 things that students would need. The first thing that they would need is to meet the academic requirement. So as Molly was saying, there are certain ATAR levels that you would need to meet to get into certain courses. And we accept the equivalent ATARs for a range of different curriculums. For example, the International Baccalaureate, your SATs, if you're doing your GCE A levels, we accept a whole range of different academic curriculums worldwide. So definitely check with us if yours is on the list. We also accept foundation program or diploma courses. So if you are going through to somewhere like Canning College or UWA College, we also accept that as the academic requirement. Everyone also needs to meet our English competency requirement. So generally, for most of our courses, it would be an IELTS academic. You would need a 6.5 overall with no section less than 6. But again, similar to the academic requirement, you can actually meet English a bunch of different ways. If we recognise your high school curriculum, like the IB or the SATs or the A levels, you could use that English subject to meet the English competency. There are other tests you could do, like the TOEFL or the PTE as well. And then the last one that we look at is your subject prerequisites. So certain courses have different prerequisites. So for example, engineering might need a higher level maths or a chemistry or a physics, whereas something like music might need an audition. So please have a look at your chosen course and see if there are any prerequisites for your chosen course, just because you would need to make sure that you do that while you're in high school. These are some of our pathway programs for the international students. As I mentioned earlier, we do have UWA College. They are actually on campus as well. So if you are, for example, in year 10 or 11 and you would like to do something like a foundation program, that takes the place of your final year of your grade 12. Let's say maybe you didn't do so well in your grade 12 or you chose not to do grade 12, you could also get into a diploma program at UWA College. And you can see that we offer a range of different diplomas. So we have diplomas in commerce, computer and data science, engineering and science. And they will actually, you will actually study the first year of the degree within that diploma. So for example, you'll be at UWA College studying your Diploma of Commerce. Once you graduate from the Diploma of Commerce, you'll get into your second year of a Bachelor of Commerce or a Bachelor of Business. And by your final semester of your diploma in commerce or engineering, you'll actually be with the first year students in the bachelor's degree. So it's a really great transition for you if you were looking at coming to UWA in the future.
Awesome. So a little bit now for domestic students, we offer lots and lots of pathways now. ATAR is not the be-all, end-all anymore, but of course it is still a very popular pathway for a lot of students and the most, direct way into your chosen course. If you are studying the ATAR pathway in year 11 and year 12, these are the requirements we would look for to use that pathway. So we hope for you to satisfy your WACE or your state's equivalent to WACE, which is your year 12 education certificate. To achieve an ATAR rank, you need to study at least 4 subjects to generate that score. We then look to ensure you've met English language competency, which for us can be a school grade of C or a scaled mark of 50 or higher in either ATAR English Literature, or ATAR English as an additional language or dialect. And then we do need to ensure you've met any prerequisites or special requirements. So like Alison talked about, something like engineering, for example, does have maths or a science associated. When it comes to your ATAR, we do make adjustments. We want to give students the benefit of the doubt when they're coming in through the ATAR pathway, and we do this in 3 main ways. So we offer a subject bonus. This looks like our admissions office reviewing your ATAR in combination with which specific ATAR subjects you've done, so that where you might fall short in your ATAR score, but you've done really well in an ATAR subject related to the degree you'd like to study, we can often make an adjustment to still pop you into that course. So a great example is, for example, our assured pathway to law requires a minimum ATAR 96. If you fell short, maybe you got a 94 ATAR, but you really smashed ATAR English Lit, our admissions office might be able to give you a bump and still make the offer into that assured pathway. Next is the Education Access Scheme, and this is an additional, application you can make through TISC when you are applying to UWA that allows us to factor in extenuating circumstances that may have impacted your final exams. This could be something like moving interstate, perhaps a family member passes away during your final year of school, perhaps you have a medical condition that has taken you out of school and you've been in hospital a lot. These are all the kinds of things that we want to know about so that when we're reviewing your ATAR, we can make adjustment considering the circumstances that you faced in your final year of school. And then finally is our first in family bonus. So if neither of your parents went to university, regardless of whether you have an older sibling that also went to university, if neither parent went to university, we can consider you for a first in family bonus. And to activate this, you would email our admissions office to let them know that you are a first in family to attend. And again, they will make an adjustment to your ATAR on that basis. Like we talked about, prerequisites are really important. Engineering is a really great example of what we would call a hard prerequisite, meaning you do need to have these before you can commence in the course. So for us, that's something like math methods, as well as either chemistry, physics, or specialist maths. Oh dear. If it's the case that you didn't quite get your ATAR math methods, or you didn't pass one of those prerequisite units, we do have bridging units. So for example, you might go into a Bachelor of Science and you didn't have math methods, you could do a bridging unit. Or you didn't have ATAR chemistry, you can do a chemistry bridging unit. You would then take these units and be able to transfer into alternative courses, or you might start in that degree and decide you actually really love it and stay there. And like we mentioned, ATAR is not the only way anymore. So the next entry pathway that we love to talk about is our experience-based entry. You might hear other universities call this portfolio entry or work and life experience. At UWA, it's all about your experience. So this is where we're considering both what you've done academically as well as what you're doing in your life outside of school. And it's a little bit like when you apply for a passport. So you need to get 100 points of ID to be able to get your passport. To use experience-based entry, we look for 100 points worth of experiences to give you entry into our courses. So when it comes to academically, this might be making an attempt at ATAR but not quite getting the score you need, or maybe you're just doing 1 or 2 ATAR subjects in Year 12. If you're doing really well in your general subjects, perhaps your school offers TAFE certificates that you can do in Year 11 and 12, Cert 3s and Cert 4s. It might even be the case that you're doing a university enabling course as part of your Year 11 and 12. These are all academic based things that we can consider in your EBE application. And then in addition, we look at life experience. So this can be things like whether you're playing sport or music at a high level. Perhaps you do a lot of volunteering through church or in the community. Maybe you have a part-time job and you've been working there for a little while. We can even consider an educational reference from one of your teachers as part of this application. Just a couple of examples of students. These are real students that have come in through our experience-based entry pathways. This is Miles. He made an attempt at ATAR, but he didn't quite get the score that he was looking for. But because he was also playing footy for the South Fremantle Colts, he was attempting an enabling course 1 unit and was also volunteering at the footy club. All of these things together meant we could still make him an offer into the Bachelor of Science, conditional on satisfying English language requirements. And then this is Sarah. So she's a great example of a student who didn't attempt ATAR. She had done a certificate 4 while she was in high school, as well as getting A's and B's in her general subjects. And she had a teacher who was able to write a great reference to speak to her capability for study. And again, all of this together meant we could still make an offer to her to study a Bachelor of Arts, again, with the condition of satisfying English language competency. We have a great checker on our website. If you search UWA EBE or UWA Experience-Based Entry, it will take you to our checker. It's like a little quiz that you can do. You pop in all the different experiences that you have, and when you get to the end, it will either say to you, fantastic, that's enough, you'll receive an offer, or not quite there yet, and you can look at how you might be able to boost your application. If at any point you have questions, again, you're more than welcome to contact us here at UWA and we can walk through what your options would be. Brand new for UWA, launching in semester 2 of 2026, are our new pathway programs. So this is a university enabling program. It is a fee-free program that runs for 1 semester, and these are designed to give you a foundation of university knowledge before going into your desired bachelor degree. So we offer a few different categories. The first one you can see there is our UWA Bilya Biddy. This is designed specifically for Indigenous students, whereby you are doing 4 units, 2 compulsory and 2 electives, which then can pivot depending on what kind of degree you would like to study, and this comes with lots of support from our School of Indigenous Studies. The next 3 there you can see UWA Catalyst, UWA Headway and UWA Thrive. Are foundation programs made up of 5 units, 1 learning for university orientation, as well as 4 units, but these again are designed to pivot towards what type of degree you'd like to study. So if you're heading into something more STEM driven, you'd look at Catalyst. If you're looking at something health driven, you'd look at Thrive. If you're looking at arts, education or business, you can do UWA Headway. But again, these are fee-free, so there's no cost to you as a student to undertake these courses, and once passing, you'll be able to proceed on to your desired bachelor degree. Still even more to choose from. If you haven't managed to find your pathway yet, there are still some other pathways you can consider. UWA does take enabling programs from other universities, so if you have successfully completed a university preparation pathway at another university with an average mark of 65% or higher, you can use that as basis for entry into our courses. It might even be the case that you get started in a bachelor degree at another university. If you've done at least 4 units at another university, we can use those units to give you entry into one of our courses. As I mentioned earlier, some students do certificate 3s or 4s when they're in high school. If you finish school and choose to go and do your diploma next, we can even use a diploma to get you into a course here at UWA. And if all else fails, there is always the Skills for Tertiary Admissions test. This is a general academic aptitude test. It's made up of a written English and a multiple choice section. When you do both of these sections, it generates a score. Our admissions office take that score and turn it into an equivalent ATAR, and then on that basis are able to make you an offer into one of our courses here at UWA. Of course, we do need to talk a little bit about fees. Unfortunately, uni is not free anymore, but UWA and I guess Australia in general has a great system in place for domestic students called the HEX Help scheme. And this means that students are not required to pay any fees up front when it comes to university. You can put that onto this loan scheme, and it's once you're in the workforce, you make repayments to this loan once you're in industry and putting your degree to work. Do you have anything to add about international fees?
So international fees will depend on each course. So do make sure that you have a look at your particular course and the fees for that. You will be required each semester to pay that international tuition fee.
Awesome. Great. I did talk a little bit about HEX just then. Thanks to our current Prime Minister, the new threshold for repayment to your HEX is up to $67,000 a year. So this is the minimum amount you would need to be earning before compulsory repayments kick in for your HEX loan. Scholarships. I love to talk about scholarships because this is literally free money. So we have over $2 million a year available for students coming to study at UWA. And what I really love to remind students is that if you don't apply for a scholarship, the answer is no. But if you do apply for a scholarship, the worst that they can say is no. It is very literally free money. And so I would really encourage you to consider applying for a scholarship. We offer them in a range of different areas, from academic-based scholarships through to diversity and equity-based scholarships, as well as international scholarships that Alison will talk about in a minute, and leadership and social impact scholarships. So here are a couple that I'd like to highlight. These are our 2 high academic scholarships. So these are scholarships that if you're on track to achieve an ATAR 95 or above or a 98 or above, they're looking at $10,000 a year or $12,500 a year. These 2 scholarships do have an earlier closing date than the majority of our scholarships. And so we highlight those so that you can get your application in as soon as possible. And we offer between about 10 per scholarship there. And this also includes your postgraduate study. So if you're choosing to study a degree after your first degree, for example, our Fogarty Scholarship, that's up to $100,000 in funding for your study at uni. 2 others that I will highlight are our Engineering Excellence Scholarship. If you are choosing to study engineering and your #1 preference in TISC is UWA Engineering and you achieve an ATAR of 90 or higher, you will automatically be awarded this scholarship. It's $10,000 for your first year of study. So not even any action required from you on that part, which is great. And then our other scholarship there is the Connect Scholarship. So this is for any students who are facing hardship in getting to university. We have a scholarship that will award $5,000 a year for the length of your degree, as well as $1,500 in startup costs. And you can apply for this one directly through your portal. One thing I will note about the UWA scholarship process is that we have a great portal. You can jump on there and do a little quiz. It will filter all of the scholarships that you're eligible for, and then when you apply, you do one application and it will send your application out to all of those scholarships that you're eligible for. So there's really no excuse not to apply for a scholarship. It's about 15 minutes worth of work, and you will apply for multiple scholarships, and maybe somebody else will be able to pay for your degree.
And here are just a couple of our international scholarships for international students. So the first one is the Global Excellence Scholarship. This is for students who are looking at a higher ATAR score. So it starts from an ATAR of 85 or equivalent. That will automatically get you a $6,000 per year scholarship. Up to 4 years if you're doing a 4-year program like the Bachelor of Engineering. ATAR of 90 or equivalent is a $10,000 per year scholarship, and then a 98 is $12,000 per year. So these scholarships are automatically assessed once we receive your final transcripts. So make sure that if you do have an offer for UWA or you are applying for UWA, make sure that you give us your final high school transcripts so that we can assess for this scholarship. The other scholarship I'm really happy to announce is new for 2027. So this is the UWA Vice Chancellor's Scholarship, and this will actually give you a 50% or 100% tuition fee reduction. So there's only a few of these scholarships, and it is select countries, but very excited for students to be applying for these scholarships. We are really committed in having high achieving students achieve their study and their career goals in the future, and we really want to be part of that journey. So we have 12 scholarships that are offered. You are looking at an ATAR of 98 or more, and you will have to write a 150 word to 200 personal statement too. So make sure that you do look out for these scholarships during your application, but these scholarships also will be open when you already have accepted your offer. So if you already are starting at UWA, maybe in the next semester, you are still eligible to apply for these scholarships. So do make sure that you have a look at that too.
Awesome. So then I guess the next part that we'll have a chat about is around student life. I think this is the probably one of the most important parts of your university selection. I always tell students that, you know, high school, you have to go Monday to Friday, 9 to 3 for 13 years. You're in school because that's a requirement, but university is not a requirement. So it really is up to you, the experience that you're going to have, and how you experience the campus life is as important as the quality of education that you're going to get. And so we really want to encourage students that university life is not about showing up, doing your class and going home. It's about getting involved. And UWA does this really, really well. We find lots of different avenues for students to get involved on campus, whether it's through clubs and societies, volunteering, sport, study abroad. There is lots of ways that you can get involved, and students are making friends for life when they come and study at UWA. We've got over 160 different clubs and societies, and they range from academic-based interests, so you might join Blackstone Law Society or the Ecoms Society, Accounting Society, and these are, I guess, more based around your academic interests. But then there are also hobby-based clubs. These are things like, you might love bubble tea, so you join our Bubble Tea Appreciation Society, or you might still be a die-hard Harry Potter fan, so you join our University Quidditch team. Perhaps you have a really niche interest and there isn't a club for it yet. UWA gives you the opportunity through our guild to start your own club so that you can meet other people with like interests to you. Our clubs and societies run over 1,000 events a year, and our students are really, really engaged. We have a really active student guild, which is like your SRC at school, and they are, holding balls for students to come and hang out together. During study week, you might find that there are puppies on campus for you to come and pat and melt away your stress. But we do it really well. At one point, at least, we have been nominated as #1 in Australia for campus life, and what that tells us is that our students are getting a world-class education and they're having a really great time while they do it. In addition to, the fun stuff, you can even do sport. We've got over 400 teams that compete both competitively and socially. On campus, you'll find we have tennis courts, basketball courts, volleyball courts. We've got fields for hockey and soccer and cricket. We've even got some swimming pools on campus. So if you're into competitive swim, you can. We send teams to compete in the National Uni Games, so you might even still meet students from other universities while you're competing. We've got a gym on campus with really great student rate, which allows you access to all the facilities as well as group classes. We have a new reformer Pilates studio on campus, and so students are really getting involved in, you're able to go and do a bit of a workout of your body before you work out your brain. We've even got our student athlete development program, so if you are competing in a sport at an elite or a sub-elite level, we do have the opportunity to help you learn how to balance your training commitments with your study commitments as well, which again is a really great skill to have, and we want to encourage students to pursue all of their passions, and so you can scan that QR code there if you'd like more information about a student athlete program. I think there's even bursary available for that, so a little bit of funding available for some of our high performing athletes. Volunteering is also a really great opportunity that students get at UWA. So we want to produce students who are making a positive social impact, and we do that by offering lots of opportunities to volunteer. You can see here a number of different organisations. We actually partner with 300 different organisations to volunteer through, and we even offer what's called micro-badging. So this is where through your volunteering, if you've done a minimum number of hours in the year, we'll put a little badge on your transcript. When you're applying to jobs, your future employer will see that you worked really hard in your studies, you got all high distinctions, but you also were making social impact by volunteering. And again, this looks really great to your future employers.
So at UWA, we don't just look after your social aspects, we also are really concerned about your well-being, and we want to make sure that all of our students feel really safe and healthy on campus. So there's a lot of different support services on offer. So make sure that if you are ever on campus and you're feeling a bit down, that you visit one of our support services. The first one is our study support. So we have our Academic Skills Centre on campus, and they can actually help you with any sort of academic requirements. If you need some help with your essays, if you want someone to look over your assignment before you hand it in, they can actually do that for you. So we have drop-in times at each library, and you can actually go in during the drop-in time and speak to one of our learning advisors to help you with your academic work. We also have health and wellbeing services. So we have our medical centre on campus, we have our physio, our pharmacy, they're all on campus as well. And if you are an international student and you have your overseas health cover as well, you can approach them and have your free support through your overseas health cover. If you are a domestic student, these are bulk billing services as well, the medical centre. Lastly, we do have a lot of financial support available. So we have things like our guild pantry. We also have financial assistance at our student administration. So do make sure that you get in contact, not just when you are experiencing some sort of crisis, but even beforehand. Come have a chat to us, come have a look at what services we provide, just in case for the future as well.
Wonderful. Yeah. Awesome. UWA is located on Whadjuk land of the Noongar people. So Whadjuk land has always been known as a place of learning, and so we really are very privileged to work and study on such a beautiful campus. And in addition to that, we have this great space for our Indigenous students. It's called the Bilya Mali. It's this great building about halfway down the campus with a beautiful view of Matilda Bay. And this is a real great space for our First Nations students to come and gather together. They can do study. You might just want to socialise there. Perhaps you're looking for a bit of wellbeing support. Anything related to that, you have the opportunity to do at Bilyamali. Our School of Indigenous Studies work really closely with our Indigenous students, so whether that's through tutoring, if you need assistance in finding a scholarship or gaining some financial support, perhaps you're looking to live on campus, our School of Indigenous Study really is a one-stop shop for all things related to our Indigenous students. And so if that is you, we would really encourage you to reach out and make the most of those services available to you. And then what we've heard about, I guess, if you're an international student come here, you might become the international student.
Right, so your journey doesn't have to just stop at UWA and in Perth. We do have so many exchange partners worldwide. So even if you've lived in Perth your whole life, or even if you're new to Perth, you still have the opportunity to go overseas and study part of your degree there. So you could do a semester or a year exchange, or you could even do a short exchange. Even during the summer break or the winter break, you could do a short exchange there as well. So it's really up to you. We have over 130 different partner universities. You could go to Europe, you could go to Asia, you could go to North America. We have universities from around the globe. The best thing though about those universities is that they all teach in English. So don't worry that you don't know the language. So you can still go to Japan and participate in the society there, but you will be learning your whatever you're learning there in English and bringing that back to you at UWA.
Awesome. So that brings us to the end of our presentation here today. We really hope that you enjoyed everything that we've had to share, and again, that your takeaway is that at UWA you really do have a world of opportunity, and that you're going to have the opportunity to make your mark on the world, that we're going to give you all the skills and experience required to be confident with what you learn and go out and have a great life and a great career. And so we thank you for joining us. We are on just about every social media under the sun. If you do have questions, we also have our great Ask UWA function on our website, or if you'd like to speak to one of our future student representatives directly, you can always give us a call on 131 UWA. So thanks again for joining us. That's all from us, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye.
Well, I hope you got something out of this session. And if you have any questions at all, you can head to choosingyouruni.com and ask Lumen. Lumen is your AI guide who knows about every university, every pathway, every option that we've talked about throughout this virtual expo. And Lumen is available to talk to you 24/7. So it's ready when you are.